Well, I'm gonna start off this video with thank you, Niche Gamer, for the rabbit hole that you just drove me down, because this is absolutely hilarity in itself. But at the same time, we've got to talk about something serious, and that's that Capcom is striking channels for using modded games. Okay, well, this was something I never expected to see in an official capacity. Street Fighter tournament hosts forget to turn off nude mod. That's insane. So we have a tournament that's going on, and you know, this also stems back to things like the PlayStation 5 melting these joysticks. A lot of people that go to these games or go to these tournaments have their own joysticks, and the PS5 for some reason at one point was melting these joysticks for too much of a signal input or a voltage input into them. That's besides the point here. We're not talking about joysticks. We're talking about this nude mod that has now spurred Capcom on. Capcom believes modding is a form of cheating when it comes to their video games, but now it seems they're taking this a step too far. Before we fully get into this video, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, do all those fun YouTube things that YouTube likes, and we can grow. We can do things more with the channel then. So this comes all the way back to a Niche Gamer article. Street Fighter 6 tournament gets surprised by a Chun Li nude mod. Absolutely hilarious. This is all the way back to August of 2023. And this is something I didn't notice. It's something that happened in the tournament category. Seeing this was a mod, seeing this was down across the bow of Capcom, now they're adding DRM back to their backlog. DRM is a form of control over their games. It tries to stop pirating the games, but they're doing this in a way to stop people from modding the games. And you know, I've spoken about people modding games in the past, namely The Legend of Zelda. There was a multiplayer version of it that was put out there by a Twitch streamer by Point Crow. It was something I spoke about a while back, and Nintendo actually was striking the guy's channel for doing this modded version of The Legend of Zelda. Now, Capcom is now stepping up here and saying, listen, you can't be doing this, you can't be modding it, and they're actually taking it a little bit further. Capcom has recently begun adding Enigma Protector to their catalog of games, including older titles. Enigma Protector is designed to protect games from privacy and cheating, but most notably has had its chilling effect on Capcom's inventive and enthusiastic modding community. And this is the thing. People want to play their games. People want to take a game and piecemeal it out and build it up and do things more with it. Look at Skyrim. Starfield also is kind of up there, even though it sounds like the modding community is not too happy with it, but they're out there to make what people want. People want to be able to mod the games that they want to play, and they want to do whatever they want to do to these games. May it be making things more nude, putting in better graphics, putting in better weapons, better animations, all these other things. People are just taking it and running with it, and it's surprising what you can do with the freedom of the internet in that as a whole. Games received the DRM as far back as 2023 with Resident Evil Revelations being updated with the software. So these things, these add-ons that they do to these games actually lowers the performance of the game. It creates more of a hassle. It brings down the frames per second of these games, and it runs in the background. It's like running multiple overlays. If you run the Xbox Game Bar on your PC, or NVIDIA Experience, or even Streamlabs, they bog down your PC to the point that you may suffer from a frame rate loss. And now they're adding this extra little thing in the back end of it where you can't touch it, that is going to create these problems for gaming in the future. This is why we're seeing games like City Skylines 2 being capped at 30 frames per second. This is why the 30 frames per second is starting to become the norm for a lot of these higher titles, because they're adding in all these extra privacy things to these games, and it's actually creating a detrimental effect. And essentially the consumer now has to pay for these extra things that they don't want and don't need, even though this is the companies trying to say, listen, it's our copyright, it's our brand. If you're going to play these games, they're going to come with these clevets. They're going to come with these extra things. You might not want them, but we want them. And if you want to play with these things, we're going to put them there. The only way you can prevent these things right now is to stop buying and paying these outrageous prices for video games. Many mods for Capcom games range in innocent graphical changes like the Shapely Mineo mod, but admittedly some mods could be considered borderline cheating, particularly in Monster Hunter, which allows for cooperative play online. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't see playing as a multiplayer as a version of cheating. I see that as a version of you want to play with your friends. Recently we had Mario, I believe it's Wonder came out, which is a multiplayer version of Super Mario Brothers, where you can have multiple people on the screen. The problem I have with that is now you're scrolling a screen, right? And you need multiple people. So you need approximately the same skill set in those types of games to have it go forward. But look back at the days of Contra. You were able to do 2-player back a long time ago of these things and be able to progress together. So it's not like it's unheard of, but it's the side scrollers make it a little bit more difficult in that sense. Now, this all said, with a multiplayer game, if you're playing in like a tournament, cash prizes, or something cooperative that is online play, and now you're bringing in these mods, that's a completely different scenario. That's absolutely different, and I can see where cheating is absolutely the worst case scenario in this stuff. Like with Monster Hunter, if you can have multiple people playing on Monster Hunter, it makes, yes, the game a lot easier, but that's why with these multiplayer games, generally, when you do have multiplayer in there, they make the things harder to do. They make the monsters more powerful, more tougher. They do the trade-off. So at this case, yeah, it's a mod, but who cares? It's you playing the experience. If you want to play it as your friends, if you're playing a single player game and you want something more out of it, or replayability at this point, add the mods you want to play with and play. It's not going to change the difference. Mostly, you could end up with a brand new game. And that's part of why they're saying they don't want these things, because they want you to buy it again and again and again. They want you to pay more money for these games. So from PC Focus, Capcom started adding a DRM Enigma. It's cancer. It prevents modding, no cheat engine, and reduces performance by 10 to 15 frames per second. It stutters games. And Capcom was striking channels for mod usage some weeks ago. Some gamers are blaming Capcom's aggressive anti-mod stance on the recent incident where a nude Chun Li mod found itself into a tournament in front of hundreds of spectators. And that was, when I saw that, I was like, I gotta look this up. I gotta see what's going on here. And literally, Chun Li sitting there buck-ass naked, fighting in this tournament. They had to cut the feed, but they didn't cut the feed soon enough because this was something that was being broadcast. And, you gotta wonder where things are going from here. Anyway, I've been your proud Canadian Phoenix Cineshadow. I'm signing off here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon.